So about 2 weeks ago, I was sitting down with a group of coaches that I founded called Collective Coaching. And what we do there is new coaches, they come in to practice what it's like to coach each other. So people get coached, people coach, and people watch each other coach. And from that, we all learn, we reflect on each other, and we all get better at coaching. And the interesting thing was that there was a very new coach who just came into the group, and there was another coach who was there who was fairly experienced. He was this neuroscientist who really knew what he was doing. He was quite good at coaching, and he had coached me in the past. And I paired them up together. And the new coach, she was going to be coaching this very experienced coach. And in the beginning, I asked her, like, is there any worries that you have or any fears that come up? She was like, well, this man, he's got a ton of life experience. He really knows what he's doing, and I don't really. What could I potentially, I don't know what to coach him on. And well, we dove into that a little bit, and they started their session, and at the end something very surprisingly happened, because this man had wonderful insights because of the way that she was coaching. He was really given the space to be himself and to allow everything that he was to come through, and it resulted in such a beautiful session that was so enlightening for him, but also for me and for this new coach, because what she had done was create a space for someone who had more life experience to grow, even though she didn't have as much life experience as he did. And that really sparked me, and I wrote an article about it on LinkedIn, and I thought I'm gonna go into this here in a video, because there's 3 things that I think are important when you are a coach who has less life experience than the person that you are coaching. In my case, I started coaching when I was 19 years old, which means that, I think there's 2 people who I've coached who were younger than me. Apart from that, everyone I've coached has been older than me, which means more life experience. And I'm just gonna get right into the first thing, which is that you don't have to coach. Many coaches, we go into the coaching conversation and we feel like we have to give someone something, we have to bring them something, we have to teach them something, or they gotta leave this conversation with this massive big insight and all these action steps to take. And I used to go in sessions like that, which put massive pressure on me, especially with people who I was like, how do these people not know what to do, right? These are amazing, incredible people who've achieved so much, and here I am, this 19-year-old dude, what do I know, right? And so the moment where I got more into that space of calmness with just being who I am and no attachment to the outcome of the coaching conversation, it all flowed more easily. Because I gave myself that space, and I was like, well, if nothing comes up in this conversation, then there's no need for me to coach. I don't have to coach. Let's just have a conversation and see what comes up. And I feel like taking that attachment out of there, taking your, I need to give this person someone I need to serve away, and just being present with who you are, that's just gonna change the game. And that was really the first thing for me. Second thing, it doesn't matter how old you are, how much life experience you have, how much you've achieved in your life, nobody feels perfect all the time. There's this story about, and I'm gonna be paraphrasing, but there's this story about how they were like, imagine that you're gonna be coaching Bill Gates, right? Because he's got trouble with his business. Imagine Bill Gates comes to you, and you're a business coach, and you're sitting with him, and he has problems too. Like he comes to you and he's like, I don't know what to do with my business. And then the story is about how you wouldn't give Bill Gates business advice. You just remind Bill Gates that he's Bill Gates, because sometimes we tend to forget that. And I feel like that is the clue in most of my coaching sessions too, where the person in front of me knows perfectly well what to do. They are perfect. However, they might not feel that way all the time. And they're perfectly good at being themselves. However, sometimes they forget who they actually are. And I think reminding someone of their perfection and what they're good at, and who they are, does not require any experience. Okay, it does require coaching experience. It doesn't require life experience from your side. And I think that that's just powerful to remember, that no one feels perfect all the time. These people who might on the outside seem like they've got such an extraordinary life also feel shit sometimes. And that was a big realization for me. And one of the things I learned from recording a podcast with Miles Downey, who's someone I really looked up to, and I've read all of his books, and I was like, this man is such an extraordinary coach. And I'll link the podcast episode up above. But my biggest takeaway from that conversation wasn't anything Miles taught me. it was that Miles is human too. Miles is just a man with a huge passion for coaching. That's all he is. And that gave me such a different look on all these people that I've admired. Think of Bill Gates. Bill Gates is just a man who has a huge passion for what he does. So is Alex Hormozy. So is, I don't know, Jesus Christ, right? They were just people with a very big passion for some area in life, and they got super good at it. But apart from that, they don't feel perfect all the time either, and they sometimes need to be reminded of their excellence and their powerfulness. So that's the second thing, this is something I am passionate about, because it is something that I used to forget. But by now I hope that I'm making it clear for you too, that no one feels perfect all the time. And then the third thing, which I think is massive, especially in the space of coaching, is that as a coach, you don't have to give advice. And it's one of the biggest questions I've gotten from people whenever I tell them I'm a coach. They're like, oh, so like, how can you give someone advice if you're if you're 22 years old? I'm like, well, I don't give advice. I don't give people advice. I don't do that. Because I believe that everyone internally knows perfectly well what they need to do. Everyone has the innate capacity to fully well and consciously choose what's best for them. However, sometimes they need to be reminded of that. And so I've never given a class. Okay, I might have stepped to the role of advisor when I actually see that might be advice that could be helpful for them, and I'll throw it in there as an option. But apart from that, I just pull out what's already within a person and I bring it about. I help them see what's within. Coaching is such a skill, because it's about you being able to pull out the greatness of your client and help them see it. That doesn't require any greatness from your side apart from that skill, but it doesn't require you to have advice, consulting, mentoring. It doesn't require you to have life experience. All it requires from you is to be present and to be able to see the person who's sitting in front of you as the perfect person that they are. And easier said than done, I know that. But the key here is that don't pressure yourself in thinking that you have to give advice. Don't pressure yourself into thinking that you have to coach someone. And don't pressure yourself into thinking that the person in front of you does not need your help. Because quite probably they do, and everyone loves talking about themselves, and everyone loves to be reminded of how great they are, because that can be so motivating. And this goes for some clients, and for other clients you're going to have different conversations where they might feel like they're shit and they might need your advice, and they come at you and they're like, I don't know what else to do. Yet even in those situations, I feel like these people somewhere deep inside them know what to do. However, there's a place and a time to give advice. But just remember that when you're coaching people who are older than you, or have more life experience than you, or have achieved better things than you have, there's no need for you to give them advice. You don't need to do that. You're a coach. You're bringing about something that's already within them. You don't need to put more stuff in there, because these people sitting in front of you are already perfect. It's a conversation from soul to soul. It's not brain to brain. And I hope that helps. I hope this gives you a bit more confidence, because truly, and I truly believe this, and I might be way off on the other side of the spectrum here, is that you don't need life experience to be a good coach. You need coaching experience. You need skills. You need the skills that a coach has. But apart from that, I don't think life experience just does it. I feel like life experience is the cherry on top, right? I've lived quite an interesting life, especially for my age. I've traveled to so many countries, had so many experiences. I've done things that other people haven't done. And from those things, I can draw stories. And these stories and those metaphors that I can use from that help me in being a better coach. But I believe everyone has those types of stories. And for me, they're in my travel. And for you, they might be in a past relationship, or getting bullied in high school, or bullying someone in high school. Like, wherever you are, you've at least come to an age where you're capable of watching this video and having an interest in coaching, which means that you have life experience. And I don't think more life experience is better. It's just different. Life experience isn't how much you've lived. Life experience is what you've done with the years that you've lived. And I hope this gives you some confidence into getting into that session with someone that actually scares you. Cheers.